Hey, gun people, here we go. Part 3.
And then, so you claimed earlier that you're qualified to do these medical examinations. Are you a doctor or what?
No, I'm a speech pathologist.
So what is your training in that?
I have a master's degree.
See, the guy's already said you're arrested, and I'm referring it to the DA. Don't cooperate. Don't give it. You can give that later in a statement. You can write that out. If the DA has questions, let him do it. Now, somebody's going to say the calm demeanor and the way he's explaining and handling his cop helps his case, and it makes him. And it may, if they were going to charge this guy criminally and put him in front of a jury, the jury would absolutely convict this cop by the way this guy's behavior and how he was treated and how this woman was treated. There's no doubt a jury would convict this cop. The problem is a DA will not put it in front of a jury, and he'll probably say, well, since the cop quit, retired, or moved to another agency, we're just going to move on to something bigger. We have bigger fish to fry than a Blue Lives Matter, blue cops. Cops get enough pressure. It's a very dangerous job, and we need to support them at every chance we can. Even when they're wrong, we need to support them. Freaking bullshit.
You have a master's degree. So what is your certification or anything like that?
Wow, you have a master's degree. This guy's pretty impressed that he's got a master's. Big freaking deal. The guy's being articulate. He's got a certification from the state, whatever. You never let him use it. You never let him talk. You don't care what his certification is. You're simply trying to, when he tells you something, you can use your power and authority to degrade it, diminish it, and make him sound like, you're not shit. You're not a freaking doctor. You're just a play doctor on my video.
Are you
Certificate of clinical competency, speech language pathology.
okay? And so that allows you
To conduct cognitive evaluations.
what kind of cognitive evaluations?
Formal cognitive
Like what?
evaluations.
Like what? This cop doesn't care what he's going to say. Do you think this cop is somehow going to have an epiphany of knowledge and go, oh, wow, man, you really do know, man. You know what? I'm really sorry. You're a really competent person that probably could have helped me, and I was just too ignorant to see it. I'm really sorry, and thanks for your help. Does anybody think this cop is going to freaking do this? That's why talking to him is pointless. But Rick, the guy's making his case stronger, and you know what? That shit'll get backfired to be used against you. It's just not good to talk to cops. I'm sorry. Even when it turns out good, even when you do things right like this guy did, don't talk to government.
No, like what do you do? So you can provide medical aid to people.
Yes.
Okay, so you can make you can, when you talk to people, you can give diagnoses and you can prescribe medicine and you can do all that kind of stuff.
Prescribe medication. I can diagnose severity of mental impairment, yes.
Like what?
Cognitive impairment.
Like what?
Like what? Like what? Like what? Like I care what you say. Just keep talking. You're a freaking idiot. I'm gonna prove you're an idiot because everything you say, I'm gonna tell you you're an idiot. Just keep talking. Like what? Like what? So you can do this. So you can do brain surgery, right? Because you got a medical license, you can do brain surgery. Oh, you can't do brain surgery. Oh, so you're out here playing a doctor and you can't even do brain surgery. That's when you get into this circular illogic bullshit when you've got somebody trying to be a bully like this guy is.
Well, I don't understand.
Like what would you?
Memory impairments, attention impairments, altered mental status, absolutely.
Okay, sounds good. And you didn't believe.
Okay, sounds good. Dismisses it. Sounds good. Yeah, you're an idiot. I don't care. I don't care what you say. I don't care what you say you can do. Whatever. Yeah, thanks. Sounds good. Let me get to another question because I'm in control and I'm playing a game now that I talk and you answer me. See, now you're learning that I'm in control because no matter how stupid my questions are and whatever I ask, and even though I don't care what your answers are, I just want to show you. I can ask questions and I can make you talk. See how I control you, pesky little citizen?
If anything was going on here.
I believe that she was under emotional distress.
So you believe she was under emotional stress. So even though she's under distress.
So now he's trying to get him to make medical conclusions without doing an evaluation. And later he'll say, see, the guy was interfering because he was trying to make, and he didn't even do his clinical evaluation. He didn't do an evaluation. He's jumping to conclusions based on his limited experience. And I'm sitting here trying to deal with an emotional woman. He didn't know the whole story. He doesn't know what's going on. He was simply trying to interfere, and he's making medical conclusions right now without doing an evaluation. That shows he doesn't know what he's doing. See how you can turn shit around when you let somebody dominate and bully the conversation like government does to you pesky citizens?
I called an ambulance for her. You continue to interfere.
I was not.
Okay, here's what the cop doesn't know. There's a law in California that if there is a medical emergency, the person with the most medical training on the scene is in control of that scene. So if I'm at a traffic accident and a guy is bleeding out and I'm doing CPR, and a doctor shows up and says, stop CPR and do this. And I go, screw you. I'm a cop. You're just a pesky citizen. Shut up. I don't care who you are. I don't care if you're a doctor. I'm in control. This is my traffic accident. There is laws, because that happened, because government cops started ignoring doctors. There is laws that says the highest trained medical person on the scene is in charge of any medical scene. As soon as this cop said she was crazy and he called an ambulance, this guy, per se, de facto, became in charge of the scene. He was the most medically trained person on this medical emergency that the cop determined was a medical emergency. He called an ambulance, said she was crazy and she needed help. He became the de facto in charge person of the scene. And anything the cop did to interfere with him actually may fall into 148. I think there's a section on 148 where you interrupt or disrupt a EMT, fireman, firefighter, or medical personnel from discharging their duties. You can be charged with 148. It's been a while since I charged it, but I think that is a subsection of 148. So technically, the cop was in violation of what he's charging this guy with.
You were interfering. I told you you were interfering.
To my understanding, I did not feel like
For her safety.
Yeah, her state of fear of being alone by herself.
Oh, okay. And then
So the hands on the face, hands up, showing my authority, making myself look bigger. These are all things that bullies do. They dominate your space. They get their hands up. They talk loud. They talk down to you. They make you feel diminished and you're nothing. They dominate the conversation. This is what bullies do. I mean, God, this guy is just a poster child for freaking psychozoid.
and what do you mean safety?
I want you to notice how this cop, while he's talking to her, non-confrontational, although he's standing up straight, kind of like he's an anal cop, but he just may be in shape to stand up straight. Whatever. Maybe he's bald underneath his cap. I don't know. But his hands are behind him. Why? He's making himself less threatening. He doesn't want his hands in front or toward the person because he knows that's intimidation. He probably sees that this woman is scared. He's evaluated this situation in a short time he's been there, and he's got his hands behind his back looking less threatening. Just from a 2-second seeing this guy, he's doing 10 times better than the bully psychopath on this video.
That I was going to hurt her.
No, she was fearful.
So safety as in your personal safety.
Personal safety, yes, sir.
So that would be like,
So now he's trying to get you into circle of logic. So you thought he was safety. Did you think I was going to hurt her? Oh, you didn't think I was going to hurt her, so you really weren't concerned about her safety. You just wanted to interfere. Oh, no, you were concerned about your safety, but I didn't even threaten you until I told you I was going to arrest you and you were trespassing. See, you see how this fast talk and double talk shit, when I see cops testifying like this, or when I see them explaining a situation to the sergeant, or if I have to interview them because of an internal investigation and they come in here and try this bullshit on me, I immediately read through the bullshit meter and go, dude, you're trying too hard to sell this. You must know that you ain't got shit.
someone being injured.
Psychologically or physically, yes.
No, physically.
I don't say that, no.
Okay. So,
I don't think she was in risk of being physically injured by you, no.
okay, sounds good. Thanks.
Okay, so now I got you to admit that I wasn't concerned with being physically injured, and you interfered anyway. You wouldn't leave. If you weren't afraid that I hurt her, why, when I asked you to leave, why didn't you leave? Why did, when I told you you were making the situation worse, you decided to stay? If you weren't concerned about her safety, then why did you need to stay? See, again, talking to the cops never turns out, because if you make one statement, they're going to be able to do a dissertation on that shit, on why and how and if and buts and coconuts, that's why you didn't need to do and you should have listened.
Am I under arrest?
So now we have this woman who was crying, asking for help, with 4 uniformed cops around her. Why? Because the other cop called for an ambulance, said she was crazy, said she might be under the influence. So all these cops feel like she may freak out, because sometimes drug people under the influence do freak out. And sometimes they do get crazy. So you want other officers there. So this cop who made this false report accusing her of this shit got all this government resources and money here because he's a freaking psychopath. Outrageous conduct.
What's that?
Am I under arrest?
Well, you are. So you're not going to be in handcuffs or anything, but I'm writing a report.
So this guy's like, can I leave? Am I under arrest or what? He's trying. So now the guy goes, oh yeah, you are. I'm not going to handcuff you, but you are. Well, let me tell you something, dude. He's not under arrest. You can't arrest somebody without physical custody. You can get an arrest warrant and then you can go arrest them on that warrant. You can file for an arrest warrant with the DA and say this guy needs to be arrested for this crime. But if you don't arrest him, he ain't freaking arrested. How about that? Dumbass cop.
Document you under arrest, so you're free to go. But
dude, when you hear those words, you are free to go, haul your ass. Do not prolong conduct. It will not get better, no matter how smart, no matter how right you think you are, even if you are right, it will not get better. When you're free to go, go. Now, somebody's going to come here and go, well, Rick, but he was there to follow a report and he still had to take it. You know what? Leave. Come back. This officer is a freaking lit piece of dynamite, and pretty soon that fuse is going to hit the freaking dynamite and it's going to explode. Disengage and get the hell away from government at your first opportunity.
What's that? Okay, sounds good. But yeah, you just so you know, you were under arrest, and
you were under arrest. He was not under arrest. He was never placed in cuffs. He was never taken into custody. He didn't sign anything saying I was under arrest. He didn't admit that he was under arrest. He wasn't under arrest. This cop's just talking double talk shit, trying to intimidate this guy.
The report's going to be on an arrest record. Okay.
So now I'm going to intimidate you and say there's going to be an arrest record. And now you're a criminal. Now you're in the system, and we're going to know next time. That's another problem with 148. When somebody gets a 148 charge, even if it's dismissed, when cops contact that person, normally there's an officer safety or some sort of pre-acknowledgement. Hey, this guy's got a prior arrest for 148. He's known for resisting arrest. He's known for fighting with cops. Because when a cop hears 148, they don't know if it's fighting, if it was words, if it was failure to follow an order, if it was you didn't sit down when I told you to sit. They don't know what it is. So they assume, hey, this guy may be a fighter. I better be careful. So therefore, I handle you differently. And I basically put a badge around your neck for the rest of your life when every cop contacts you. This guy ought to be suing to have this arrest record removed, expunged, taken off his record as if it didn't happen, and make this cop pay for everything that he's doing. But it won't happen.
There it is.
4316.
4316. But apparently you guys hear 123, so that's fine.
I heard that too.
Oh, you heard that? From across the room through.
So now, oh, you heard that? Well, now I'm going to intimidate you and say, oh, it's across the room, bulletproof glass. How could you hear that? You must be lying. So now, because this guy said this, and now he becomes a witness for this other person. See, this other person is too scared to file a report. This woman needs to file a formal written complaint on this officer. This guy needs to file a formal written complaint. He needs to write down everything that happened, how he's felt, everything this guy did wrong, every policy violation that he can think of, everything that he thinks wrong this cop did. He needs to write it down and file it with the San Francisco Police Department, because that is the only time an official IA is started, because now there's a documented trail that, hey, now we have a document that we can transfer, we can assign a case number, and we have to put a disposition. It has to be looked into. All you people out there doing these verbal complaints, I want to call a sergeant, I'm going to file a complaint. The sergeant's job is to come there, appease you, and not make you do something in writing so he can close it. Once you put it in writing, he can't do it. It has to go to IA. IA will review it, or someone else will review it, and they will decide whether the sergeant gets to do it. Sometimes it is forwarded back to the sergeant. If you don't have an IA in a small department, the sergeant does the IA, but he still has to document, get statements, collect evidence, and prove why you were right or why you were wrong. When you do this verbal shit and you complain and vent, and then somebody tells you feel good words, nothing happens.
Yes.
Bulletproof glass.
I swear to God, yes.
Oh, you did? Oh, okay. All right.
Oh, I heard you. Oh, really? Through the glass. Through the glass, you heard me. Again, this is an intimidation to discredit your statements and to call you a liar again. Here we go.
4316. But apparently you guys hear 123, so that's fine.
I heard that too.
Oh, you heard that? From across the room.
Apparently, you guys hear 123, meaning you didn't even hear what you said. It's just...
But apparently you guys hear 123, so that's fine.
I heard that too.
Oh, you heard that? From across the room through bulletproof glass.
I swear to God, yes.
Oh.
See, that wasn't a question, that wasn't a statement. See, that was a statement saying you were way across the room and there was bulletproof out there. You couldn't have heard it, therefore you're lying. That wasn't a question, that was a statement.
You did? Oh, okay. All right, sounds good.
Is this guy medical instead of a cop? Maybe that's why he wasn't being intimidation. He didn't have his Iggy blue uniform, ego freaking driven. Maybe, is that a, I don't think that's a badge. That might be a stethoscope or some sort of medical shit. I don't, maybe that's blood pressure thingy.
a citation.
How do I file?
So I think the sergeant said in this fast forward shit that you need to issue him a citation if you arrested him. So a few minutes ago, when I said when you hear those magic words, you're free to leave, you need to freaking leave. He wouldn't have got the citation. The guy wouldn't have had shit and he could have left. Now that he writes the citation, now it is an official record. Now it is going to go, has an arrest without custody, and he's going to get him signed for a court date. He's going to sign him a court date. Now he has a number assigned, and now there is a case. Why? Because he didn't leave when he could have. Well, Ricky didn't have to leave, and that's a public place, and he has a right to... I'm telling you, you can argue all day how right you are. I'm just telling you, had he left, this cop would not have been able to issue him a citation or he written a citation after he left. It would have made him look more stupid and more incompetent. So the sergeant was like, dude, if you're going to arrest him, you need to do a 148, so there's a case number.
You can, like I said, you can file it for the forms or you can file it with our sergeant. Oh, you'd love to do that? Okay, sounds good.
Oh, you'd love to do that? Okay, that sounds good. Very condescending. I mean, this guy's just a punk from the word go. Okay, so the guy pulls out his handcuffs and starts playing with his handcuffs in front of this guy. No reason for that. The guy already said he wasn't going to put him in handcuffs, but now he's going to pull out the handcuffs. This would be like if he starts stroking his gun right now in the handle, or he starts clicking his safety on and off, or he pulls out a magazine and starts messing with his bullets and reloading. This is exactly what this guy's doing with these handcuffs. Be no different.
This is going to be for 148A1, which is resisting, delaying, interfering with the police investigation.
Did it switch from a citation to an arrest?
You know, it's still an arrest, but I talked to my sergeant because they need to improve our charges for us. So when I talked to him...
Oh! So now we know, and I know there's some agents like Alameda was like that. Cops could not make an arrest without supervisor approval because the cops were charging so many bullshit cases that they had to enact a policy that we can't trust you guys because you're arresting everybody for 148. You're making all these stupid arrests. From now on, before you make an arrest, a supervisor has to come and approve your arrest. This would explain why the cop ambushed the sergeant right away to justify his 148 immediately. So now the sergeant said, if you want me to approve an arrest, you need to write him a citation. Now, what I'd like to know is if the sergeant approved this arrest, he's just as dirty, ignorant, incompetent as his cop for not saying, dude, you're out of control. This is a bullshit arrest. I ain't approving this. That's where it should have stopped. Maybe it did. Maybe it didn't. I don't know.
Instead of forwarding it to the DA, which I could do, we figure since you're here...
Which I could do. Yeah, you could, but you're an idiot. It's not an arrest.
And, since you admitted to interfering...
My guess is this guy's never forwarded anything to DA, because when you forward something to DA, you're requesting charges. You're not charging anybody. You're not arresting anybody. You're saying, you know what? It could be arrestable. It could be not. I don't know if there's a crime. I think all 148s should be referred to the DA and you should not be booked. I don't think cops ought to have the ability to get people who question their authority and put them in jail and cost them money and then take away their freedoms and totally ignore the Constitution just because they got their feelings hurt. I think all resisting arrest should be you have to refer to the DA. Write it up and refer it to the DA. We don't book people in jail just to give you cops a ego thing that you can take people's freedoms away, cost the county money, take time from taxpayer money, getting you off the streets to book people because you got your feelings freaking hurt.
That we're just going to just cite you right there.
But I did not interfere.
You did, but...
You did, but. But whatever, shut up. But means I discount everything you say. You don't know what the hell you're talking about. You're a pesky citizen. Now we have another cop eyeballing. Gee, I'm kind of bored. I wonder if I can get out there and get me a stat.
That's fine. Have you ever been arrested before? Nope. First time? Yep.
First time. Wow. I'm gonna start you an arrest. That was an intimidation. I'm gonna start your arrest record. You are being arrested. This is the first time. Now you're gonna have a booking document for the rest of your freaking life because you hurt my feelings. Outrageous.
She already has his phone number, but...
We're just going to put this in the random number.
Yeah, answer her? Yeah, sure. Okay.
So the guy's like, may I answer her? Again, being respectful. He's still trying to help her. This guy doesn't want her talking to him because when they talk, they both sound reasonable. And that's the last thing the psychopath wants anyone to hear.
So I appreciate your tip.
I gave it to you.
I wonder if they end up taking her. If they end up taking her to the hospital against her will, this is some bullshit. Outrageous to harass this woman this way. Ugh.
I'll write it down for you too. I saw. Yes, I saw everything. I was here. Do some breathing. We'll talk about it. I'll write my number down for you.
Okay, sir. So just so you know,
So this pisses off the cop that he's going to be there for her. He's going to help her. This cop doesn't like that. So let me get back in your face. Let me dominate the conversation. Let me exert my authority and show you who's in charge here. It's not you, mister. You talk to me. You don't talk to her. I can affect your life for the rest of your life. I'm gonna refer charges. I can put handcuffs on you. Outrageous.
You're under arrest for obstructing and delaying my investigation. So I'm trying to give this woman, investigate her crime that's going on, okay? Also, I noticed there was some kind of medical thing. You claim that you could give medical services when indeed you could not. I asked you to leave.
When indeed you cannot. Actually, he could. If the woman is 5150 and you called the ambulance because you think she was in a medical crisis, he was a medical professional with more training than you. He was actually in charge of the scene.
Leave. You did not leave. I asked you numerous times. You're not a doctor, right?
I'm not a doctor.
You're not a doctor. I asked you numerous times.
It doesn't matter where he's a doctor. That's not what the statute said. The statute says the person with the most medical training, which means if you have basic first aid, you're in charge over everybody that doesn't have basic first aid. If you have CPR or you're an EMT, you have control over everyone that is not an EMT or doesn't have the certification. A paramedic is a higher medical certification than EMT. If you're an EMT, it's your scene. If a paramedic shows up, he is now in charge because he has more medical training. And if a doctor shows up, then he is in charge because he has more medical training than a paramedic. It's set that way so ego people can't claim I'm in charge when someone else who's more qualified to handle it.
To leave, hold on. I asked you numerous times to leave. I let you know that you would be under...
Hands, pointing, knife hand, whatever you want to call it, intimidation, getting closer to space, cutting you off, showing you that no matter what you say, you're wrong, I'm in charge, I'm going to talk over you because I'm special and you're an idiot, pesky citizen, and I'm getting paid to be here, so shut up.
Arrest, and you said that's fine.
I did not.
You did. It's going to be on camera. So you said that's fine. You said that numerous times. I even told you...
Which is totally irrelevant. What, do you think I need you to agree that my arrest is good? If I arrest you for freaking homicide or bank robbery or assault or rape, do you think I need your approval to say, look, I told you I was arresting you, right? And you said that's okay. That doesn't change any damn thing. That has nothing to do with it. This is total bullshit, double talk from this cop.
You were under arrest.
I did not say that.
I even told you you were under arrest, okay? So, for those reasons, okay, you made this...
Had this guy left when he said you're free to go, this wouldn't be happening. But Ricky was right. All right, whatever. You can be right. You can deal with government every day. Go hang out at a police station. Be right all freaking day. Let me know how that works out. Videotape it so I can do a video on it.
Situation much worse. Okay. For those reasons, you're under arrest. So sign right here. That's your court date. Sign right here.
Was there a reason why you were grabbing your handcuffs when I was right here when you were sitting next
Well, yeah, there was. I was going to put you in handcuffs. So I was going to bring you in the station. But it ended up I had my sergeant right here. I didn't need to do anything.
So now he's explaining away the intimidation of handcuffs. See how easy it is when you let them do that? Yeah, I did it because I was going to handcuff you, but he wasn't going to handcuff him. He didn't reach for him. He didn't say, I'm going to handcuff you now. What would be the purpose of that? He's going to have him sign a ticket. He's already said he wasn't going to arrest him. He was just going to refer it. Why would he suddenly feel the need to handcuff? Because he wasn't. It's another lie by this cop. It was absolutely an intimidation move. He knows it, and now he's trying to justify it away.
Further investigation.
So you repeatedly said I would not be handcuffed.
I did, but it also I said I was just going to forward this to the DA first. But no, we're decided to go with the citation.
Now we decided. No, we didn't decide nothing. You're a dumbass, flat-foot cop who can't make an arrest without sergeant approval, and now so you want to be butthurt and be intimidating. You want to ruin these people's lives because you're getting paid to do a job that you just want to use the power and abuse people. Freaking bully.
It felt like intimidation to me.
Okay.
That's my point.
That's fine. Duly noted. Also, you could say it's probably intimidation that I'm.
Duly noted, that's fine. Now let me get the last word. Let me tell you how you don't know what you're talking about, how I'm going to use your words against you because you just said you were intimidated. Now I'm going to show you why I was intimidated and why this arrest is so needed.
I'm trying to speak to a victim here, and you're standing behind me, refusing to leave the station, give us privacy. So that was the reason why I told you to leave, is because I believe you were intimidating us. Okay, so.
Who thinks this cop was intimidated at any point in any conversation he's had since he's been here? This cop was not intimidated in the freaking... This is where I get back to when words and actions matter. He's saying he felt intimidated. His conduct and behavior was never consistent with him feeling any threat or any intimidation. The only conduct he did was bully, in control, domination, and talking over and down to people, making them know he's in charge and his authority. That's the only thing this guy demonstrated by his actions. It was not intimidation whatsoever. Another lie by this lying Blue Line Matters, this hero of police that we should all love.
Sign right here.
And this is to say that I will be...
You will be appearing in court.
My address is not accurate.
That's fine.
So he corrects the cop that you wrote down the wrong address, dumbass. Or you took the address from my driver's license without asking me if that's my current address, because any cop who's been on the street for less than freaking 2 days knows when somebody gives you a driver's license, you always confirm, is this your mailing address? Because that's where the court document's going to go. So you want to have the correct address there. What does this cop go? That's fine. Why? Because I don't want to admit that I'm wrong. I don't want to admit that I didn't ask the question. I'll just leave the wrong address. So you know what? You won't get the court documents. When your court date changes, it'll be mailed to the wrong address. And then when you don't show up in court, I can get another arrest warrant because you failed to show. And then I can really exert my power and go arrest you again for not showing up to the court date because I put the wrong address. Cop is wrong again. He's lying. He's doing everything he can to manipulate the law to suit his means of bulliness.
And you'd like me to contact your supervisor about this?
You can do whatever you want.
Okay. I mean, you gave me...
That's probably the best thing he said. You can do whatever you want. The cop's going to do whatever he wants. Don't talk to cops, dude. Look, you seem like a nice guy. You're probably a freaking liberal living in San Francisco dealing with liberal shit. And I usually don't like liberals because I think most of them are idiots. But you seem like a pretty nice guy and you're trying to help and you got caught up in this. You need to realize most liberals think government is good, government will protect you, and more government is better, and more government is gooder than good government, and all this stupid shit that liberals believe. But I'm telling you, dude, government is not your friend. And the more government you have, this is how you will be treated. This is how they will influence your lives. This is how they will become tyrannical. And more government is never better. More tax dollars. Look how many offices are here the next time you vote for more taxes because you think liberalism is good. And San Francisco is a freaking shithole. And the county's broke. And they have lots of cops and lots of government to help you, just like they're helping you now. Rick, you shouldn't call the guy liberal. That's not fair. Look, whatever. Everybody knows that's my stick on. I think liberalism is freaking foolish. But anyway, I figured I'd stick that in there just to piss off somebody, because maybe I didn't piss off people in this video, and you know how I like to do that. All right, don't talk to cops, dude. It's not going to help you.
Here's the information, so you'd like me to? Okay.
Yeah, I think she'd be proud of me.
She'd be proud of you?
So he says, I think she'd be proud of me. So he's kind of being a smartass now, which I'm okay with. He's got every right to be a smartass. This cop has been a jerk the whole time. So he says, yeah, you can go and call him supervisor. I think she'll be proud of me for not. And his supervisor should be proud of him. This guy ought to get a freaking medal. The chief of police ought to be meeting with him saying, I'm sorry that I have such a lack of control of my officers that somebody was allowed to do this behavior and to treat and make you two citizens feel like shit. That's what probably ought to happen. But you know what will happen? Well, we evaluated the officer's conduct, and we find that there's reason to believe that he could have felt threatened at some point in time, and there was two of you, and there was only one of him, and we find his actions appropriate and consistent with policy, and we've taken appropriate action. Thanks for your complaint. That's what'll probably freaking happen.
For getting arrested? Okay.
She'll be proud of you for getting arrested. Again, another dig saying now you're nothing but a criminal because you've been arrested. And I made that possible, courtesy of the San Francisco Police Department. Here's your ticket. Have a nice day. Outrageous conduct. All right, I'm almost at 30 minutes again. Hey, this thing just popped up. I didn't read it because I always ignore this shit. But it looks like a brief update. I wonder if this is an update on this incident. All right, so I went to the video, brief update, thinking I'd get more information, but it really isn't information. He's kind of saying he's being a hero. He's getting a lot of positive response, and he should. He did the right thing. And he also says that he's going to donate any excess money to ACLU.
Raise enough, whatever is in excess of my legal fees, I will be donating to the ACLU for their tireless works towards equality and the things we need.
Unfortunately, the ACLU used to be a good organization that fought when there was unconstitutional stuff. Now they've become pretty much an arm of BLM, and they don't really fight for everybody. They only fight for selected people. And so they've lost all credibility to me. So, unfortunately, I don't agree with that. But hey, he can do what he wants with his money. Look, he did the right thing here. I would like to see this cop charged. I would like to see him win a huge settlement against the city. I would like government to be held accountable and to put things in procedure that would stop bully behavior. But you know what? My guess is, like I said in the other video when I made a conclusion, I took a swag, scientific, swinging, wild-ass guess, whatever you want to say it is. This guy's probably, a left-wing liberal that votes for more taxes and more government. And now that he's seen what more government is, do you think he'll change his opinion that more government is not better and that government will always abuse their power if you give them more power, so we should never give government more power? I doubt it. But anyway, that doesn't change the fact he did the right thing. Using the term hero, hey, he stood up for this woman. He did the right thing. I think more people ought to do the right thing, regardless of their motivations. It ought to just be something that we do. All right, we'll end that there. I wanted to add that all 3 videos will be going on my Earning the Hate playlist with all the isolated incidents of Blue Lives Matter and Cops Are Our Heroes. Earning the Hate playlist.